This is usually the part where I talk about how this is like an ambitious month or whatever. But that just seems to be the norm now. So let's just go ahead and talk about July. Hey, what's up, bookworms? Mike back for another TBR video. This time it's going to be for July of 2023. So we are past the halfway point, and I think a lot of our TBRs are becoming a lot more clear. If you are like me and you schedule for the rest of the year, this is the part where you're being like, okay, I got to start making some decisions. And I have done that because it's been kind of a tough month for me to plan. Because first, we are going to be taking a vacation at the end of July, and you'll look at this list and be like, Mike, you've got like two 1,000 plus page books on here, and you're talking about other things besides those two books. It's because we are taking that vacation, because it is kidless, it is a cruise, there's a lot of downtime, and I can have hours upon hours of uninterrupted reading time. So that's why I think I can fit all of these in this month. Now, if you guys haven't watched since the last TBR video, I want to let you know why it's missing. I did get that review copy of Lightbringer, and I'm almost done with it here, so I won't be including that one on this list. So if you're looking for that, that is why. So I went ahead and did that, and I had to flip some things around. But again, that's why it is missing from this list. So let's go ahead and jump in, guys. I like to say that these are going to be the order that I currently have them planned to read in. However, as you saw last month, that can change when you're dealing with chonkers. You can find yourself wanting a change of pace sometimes. And so maybe I might not read them in this order, but these are the books I'll be reading this month. So if you want to try to keep score at home, this is the best way to do it. So first up, guys, we'll be diving into one of my top 10 books of all time, guys. It'll be a reread, the only reread for me this month. It's going to be my last reread for a while. This is Gone with the Wind by Miss Margaret Mitchell. Nice 75th anniversary edition that one of my patrons, Caitlin, sent me. And the reason that we're moving this one up to first is because she is expecting, and in case the baby comes a little early, I want to make sure that I am able to read this with her, because that is our plan. We have a monthly classic section on our Discord, and they are all going to go ahead and join us for this in July. So it started with like 3 or 4 of my patrons, and it's kind of ballooned into something that's almost like an official read-along, but not really. It's not mine. But if you guys do want to join us, it'd be a great time to do it. So Gone with the Wind, a lot of people have hot opinions about them, and I'm never going to tell you that you're wrong, but you're allowed to have that opinion. My opinion is a great and wonderful book, and I think everyone should read it, and now is a great time to do so if you want. But if you've been living under a rock and you don't know what Gone with the Wind is about, well, you're in luck, because I am here to tell you what Gone with the Wind is about. Now, in Georgia, on the eve before the pending war between the Union and the Confederacy, the petulant Southern belle Scarlett O'Hara is thrust into a life she was never prepared for, as the country slowly tears itself apart and brother fights brother. From the Civil War through the Reconstruction era of the South, Scarlett faces many challenges, and the resilient woman will do everything in her power to control her own destiny, including marrying men to maintain her enviable social status. Headstrong, passionate, and above all, resolute, not even war or death can stand in Scarlett's way. Nevertheless, love is delicate and elusive, and somehow it is always one step ahead of her. Has Scarlett's noble aspiration for a better future gone with the wind? Guys, this is a classic of all classics. I can't wait to talk to you guys about it. It's very, very exciting for me, because I said for a long time I didn't talk about this because of a lot of the opinions that were going around about it. But it's a time where I'm like, look, guys, I gotta talk about the books that I love, regardless of if they make someone uncomfortable or not. So that's why I'm definitely going to be doing this and talking about it for sure after we do read. I'll definitely be reviewing one of my favorite books of all time. Even with the negative backlash it may receive, I feel like a lot more people will have positive things to say about it. And I can't wait to do it. I hope you'll join us. After that, going to be kind of reeling it back to the now. It's a really recently released book. You like that? A newly released book of, actually, it's a re-release, sort of. It is The Combat Codes by Alexander Darwin. Now, what is about this one is it was actually independently released by Alexander like 3 years ago, and now has gotten picked up by Orbit and gotten a nice little repolishing, a nice new layer of editing and some additions and some things that he's changed in it, and kind of given an updated version of it. And this one I'll be doing in July. I meant to actually do it last month, but some things got mixed up with the Will of the Mini, and I kind of moved things around, so I just got to do it like a month later than I had originally planned, but that's okay. It still counts, right? But I'm excited to talk about this book because it apparently is very much targeted towards people who like Red Rising. That sounds like a great sales point. But the combat codes, guys, what is this one about? Well, in a world long ago, ravaged by war, the nations have sworn an armistice never to use weapons of mass destruction again. Instead, highly skilled warriors, known as Griever Knights, represent their nation's interest in brutal hand-to-hand combat. Mercy Pearson was once a famed knight until he suffered a loss that crippled his homeland. But now, he's on the hunt to discover the next great champion. In underground and ruthless combat rings, an orphan boy named Seago is making a name for himself. Murray believes Seago has what it takes to thrive in the world's most prestigious combat academy. But first, Seago must prove himself in the vicious arenas of the underworld, and survival is not guaranteed. The combat codes, guys, I'm very excited about it. Only thing I would say about this is I gotta wonder what Orbit was thinking, because I saw the independent releases of these covers, and I think they're way prettier than this new cover is. But I'm pretty sure that the book inside is going to be pretty fun. Can't wait to check it out. I finished book number 4 of The Expanse last month, so that means, guys, we're moving on to the next one. This is going to be Nemesis Games by James S.A. Corey. Expanse number 5. What has me excited about this, guys, is, look, I like Cibola Burn a lot. I liked it a lot more than Abaddon's Gate. I've heard that this is the best in the series. So many have told me this is their favorite one. So I'm very excited about it. Look, I'll be honest, season 5 of the TV show was probably my favorite. So it goes to show that maybe that's the reason why. So very excited for what is headed our way in the world of The Expanse. It's just gotten better and better for me. Like I said, I had some things I didn't like about Abaddon's Gate, but that was more about, hey, some characters I really loved were kind of disappeared, and it kind of focused on something I didn't love. I think that was addition by subtraction in book number 4. So I don't know what the focus characters are going to be in 5, but as long as it's his Holden and his crew, obviously, I'm going to be on board for it. But as for Nemesis Games, what is that one about, guys? 1,000 worlds have opened, and the greatest land rush in human history has begun. As wave after wave of colonists leave, the power structure of the old solar system begin to buckle. Ships are disappearing without a trace, and private armies are being secretly formed. The sole remaining protomolecule sample is stolen, and terrorist attacks, previously considered impossible, bring the inner planets to their knees. The sins of the past are returning to exact a terrible price. And as a new human order is struggling to be born in blood and fire, James Holden and the crew of the Rocinante must struggle to survive and get back to the only home that they have left. Exciting times, guys, be hitting the halfway point of my journey through The Expanse. I'm so excited to be getting back to this, because it's something that I put off because I felt like it was ruining the TV show for me, which I loved a lot, so I decided to read it after, and just kept getting pushed back, and then the Malazan thing made me cancel Sci-Fi September that year. So this has been kind of delayed, so I'm glad that I got it all on the schedule now, and I have a plan to finish it this year. I'm very excited to continue doing so, and especially, like I said, this book, which is apparently so well loved and received by the fans. And I talked about Lightbringer earlier, and that meant that I had to take Dragon Keeper off my schedule last month because it didn't have room to fit another 700-page book in there and still read it. So I'm going to be picking up Dragon Keeper, but I'm also going to be doing Dragon Haven, Dragon Keeper. Whichever one is 1 and 2. I'm going to be doing 1 and 2. I think it's Keeper is 1 and Haven is 2. To keep up with Philip, I haven't actually talked to him yet about Dragon Keeper, if he's actually read it or not. But that was always the plan, so I'm going to kind of double up here. And I know I've already got the moans and groans from people who aren't fans of the Rainwilds Chronicles being like, wow, you're going to tackle the worst 2 books in the Realm of the Oldlings in the same month. Well, that's what we got to do to keep schedule. But I'm going to kind of summarize what both of them are about here. So I guess that's all I can really say about it. Too much time has passed since the powerful dragon Tintaglia helped the people of the Traitor City stave off an invasion of their enemies, and the traitors have forgotten their promises. Tymara and Elise are among the group entrusted with escorting dragons to their new home and are in search of the mythical Eldling city of Kelsingra. They are accompanied by the live ship Tarman and its captain Leftrin. However, a traitor has infiltrated the expedition and will stop at nothing to achieve their goal. And then there are the Rainwilds themselves. Mysterious, unstable, and even perilous, its mighty river running with acid, its jungle impenetrable, and its waterways uncharted. Will the expedition reach their destination unscathed? Does the city of Kelsingra even exist? Only one thing is certain. The journey will leave none of their dragons nor their human companions unchanged by the experience. So yes, guys, now it is basically the size of one regular sized Robin Hobb book. There. Now it's the size of a live ship trader's book when when I do both of these together. So that is the plan as far as Realm of the Eldlings. That way we can get back on the schedule. The Expanse, Realm of the Eldlings, 1 a month to the end of the year, and we should be able to get those series knocked out. And I know that there's a lot of negative reception for the Rainwild Chronicles. I'm trying to go into it with a positive attitude, and I think doing it this way will probably be best for me. If I feel like it's the other books that you just kind of like plow through, when everybody tells you like Wheel of Time 7 through 10, you just got to kind of plow through them. Maybe sometimes that's the best approach to take. I don't know. I feel like sometimes the expectations are so low, you have no choice but to enjoy yourself. But at least that's where I'm thinking of. And here's where you guys are going to think I might be a little nuts, because I've already talked about 2 500-plus page Robin Hobb books. I've already talked about Gone with the Wind, which is 1,100 pages. And now, guys, I got to talk about the last book of the month, which is Of War and Ruin by Ryan Cahill. And again, if I wasn't taking this vacation, there's no way that I'd be doing this. And you ask why? That's why, guys. This is bigger than Gone with the Wind. So this will be the biggest book I read this month. 1,487 pages, guys. Yeah, excited to continue with this world. But I'm not going to pretend that this one's not going to leak over into August. Our cruise is from July the 28th, I think, until August 5th. So, yeah, this will probably be I won't be taking it on the boat. I'll be taking the digital version because this might actually sink the ship, So, there we go. But, guys, I'm going to try to stay as vague as possible here because I know I'm going to be talking about book number 3 in a series. So if you haven't started The Bound and the Broken yet, first, start The Bound and the Broken. You're going to love it. And second, this isn't going to ruin anything for you outside of character names. So, I just like to let people know that before I talk about them. But, guys, what is Of War and Ruin about? The city burns, and Kalen's world has been shaken to its core. With Valeris at his side, Kalen must battle his demons and push forward. There are people who need him, and people who need what he must become, and he will not let them stand alone. In Loria, Ella struggles to understand the ancient power that flows through her veins. The world is changing around her, and she is changing with it. Her journey has only just begun. Thousands of miles away, assassins move in the dark as the kingdoms of the Dwarven Freehold ready themselves for war. Dallin and Belina have no choice but to unravel the mysteries of the mountain before everything crumbles around them. Meanwhile, Rist will question every truth he has ever been told. He has never been a fighter, never been the one that people look to, but he will fight for those he loves, no matter what it takes. In Valterra, Alina and Dane Ateres prepare their people for war. They have been beneath the Lorien boot for too long. Valterra will be free, and the wyvern of House Ateres will fly again, by blade and by blood. As the continent of Etheria descends into war and chaos, Calavar struggles to come to terms with an immense loss. Despite the hole in his heart, he has no choice but to stand and fight. The shadow is coming, and the Knights of Acheron are the only ones powerful enough to hold back the tide. Unbeknownst to all, another force is rising, a force long thought to be tamed. The balance of power is about to shift, and Etheria will never be the same. Does that feel like a long synopsis and a lot of characters you would think that a 1,500-page book would have? Not really surprising, is it? But guys, that's a great, great series. I'm really enjoying it. And the thing is, I say that there's no way that book doesn't go into August for me. I've had a lot of people. What I said was I thought I was going to treat it like I did Green Angel Tower by Tad Williams, where I split that over 2 months. I was asking people, is there like a splitting point for that? Like, I plan to do that too. It's like I couldn't stop turning the pages because it's just so damn good. So Ryan just is that type of writer. You're never going to really feel bored or anything. And I think it's just common nature as a fantasy fan to say, oh, a 1,500-page book, there might be some bloat in there. But from what I understand, that is not the case. So exciting times ahead. I am really, really expecting to love it. I feel like I've liked each one more than the last, and that includes the novellas. The Exile, probably the best thing I've read in that universe so far, and it's made me a very, very big House of Ateres fan. So I'm excited. I'm excited as hell as I can be for a 1,500-page book. So I know it looks like an ambitious month, and that's why this section right here seems kind of stupid. I'm going to say if I have time. So if I have time, I do have a couple other things, and they're going to be something smaller because I think you're dealing with books this large. Sometimes you need to change a pace. You need something a little light to get over it. I think, I started reading this morning. Scythe by Neil Shusterman, and I zipped through the first 100 pages like that. Really good concept. I'm really it's like asking a lot of those challenging and moral questions, dilemmas like The Giver did by Lois Lowry. I'm liking that quite a bit. I don't read a ton of YA, so everyone told me Neil Shusterman would be one that they recommended to me because he doesn't do the things I hate, So I'm thinking there's not going to be a love triangle or girl bosses and Gary Stews and things like that. We'll see. But so far I'm really liking it. I think it's a really cool idea. So that's why I said, I'll go ahead and put these on my list because there's no way, unless that completely shits the bed the second half of the book, which I don't think it will. Too many people say that book's amazing, and I see why. The sequels kind of get a mixed response. So I'd be interested to see where I fall on them. But would I get these in July? I'm not sure. I'm just saying that I'm going to leave them open to possibly do. As fast as I'm going through that one, shoot, I might start this one before July even starts. Who knows? But I'm excited to pick up a series like that that's a little light. You know, I know that I've come off as a person who traditionally hates YA. That's why I made that video about I do not hate YA. I hate YA tropes, and if it doesn't have those tropes in them, I'm quite okay with giving your brain a vacation once in a while, not having to invest yourself in 400 characters and 600 new lands and then the family trees that are just miles and miles and miles long. That's great. It's welcoming to me to get a book that has, 5 or 6 characters and you're in a solid location the whole time. That's great. I think that's something that I would encourage everyone to do, especially if you're feeling like you're getting a little beat down with some longer reads. So when you got 2 books in hardcover that are 1,000+ pages in a month, I think books like that are a great idea, and that's why I put them on here. But again, like I said, these that I mentioned before are the priority, and I'm going to try to make sure that I get all those done. Like I said, if War and Ruin might bleed into August, but again, I'll be 8 days, guys, on a vacation without kids. And if you've ever been on a cruise, you know there's a ton of downtime where it really is. Just entertain yourself. Just entertain yourself. And like I said, hours of uninterrupted reading time sounds like the perfect vacation for me. So guys, that's my month of July. Are you planning to read any of these with me? I'd love to have you on all those. We're starting Gone with the Wind on the 1st. If you want to do that, jump on the Discord. We'll have a big old thread that should be very active while we're reading through that. And anything else you guys want to read, I'd love to have you along. What are you going to read this month? Why don't you drop in the comments and let me know, because I am always looking to add to my ever-growing TBR. So drop in the comments, guys, and I will talk to you there.